The Grove Podcast.
Hello, my name is Tabs and welcome to episode 197 of The Grove Podcast. Now, thank you for listening and I hope you're all well and basking in the glory of not only being champions, but now being Community Shield winners as well. And Arsenal start the season as they mean to go on, and it's one trophy down, and it is a trophy because we won. And there's 4 to go, so the quintuple is well and truly on. And if yesterday is anything to go by, this domestic season is going to be a bit of a breeze, and basically everyone's just going to be fighting for second place and runners-up spots. So there we go. And look, in today's pod, we'll be looking back at said Community Shield triumph. And joining me to do that today is Kuziva. How are you doing? And will it be March or April when we'll be having the league all sewn up?
I think it's March. I think it's going to be a good for March one. I'm doing well, thank you. Obviously, champions of the community. I can't complain.
Champions on the community. Look. If we are champions of the community, absolutely. So look. We won 3-0, and we were always destined to win because Orbinho shared this stat that Arsenal have never lost a match on the 16th of August, winning 9 out of 10 games and drawing the other. So I should have mentioned this beforehand and told everyone to bet their house and bet all their life savings that we weren't going to lose. And that 3-0 victory is the biggest margin in a Community Shield since 2014 when we last beat Man City by the same scoreline, and we're now on 18 Community Shield wins, which is second just behind Man United on 21 and Liverpool on 16. So, yeah, it was a destiny, and also just being a very good team and City being a pile of shit meant we were always going to win that game. But look, we are sort of tongue in cheek about it being a trophy to a certain extent. We're having a joke, and where do you stand as far as the Community Shield is concerned? Is it an important trophy worth playing for? Glory Fred friendly? Does it matter?
So I'm gonna play a little clip from something that Pep said last time he won the Community Shield, and that'll be my answer to you guys. All right.
It's without a trophy. Do you feel as though there's any?
You won a trophy.
At the end of last season, I mean,
We won a trophy, Community Shield, we won a trophy.
how last season?
Yeah, we won a trophy, guys. It feels like a glorified friendly, but when 2 of the best teams in England face up, it's not really like a friendly. It's not. So, I counted because it's good for confidence. I counted because we saw depth. We saw City post Pep. So for me, as Pep said, it's a trophy.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones. Context is key here, and I think if you lose it, it's not a trophy. It's Glory Fred friendly. It's a bit of a showpiece event, but at the end of the day, it's meaningless and has no bearing on the season. And I discourage anyone looking up the history of what happens to winners of the Community Shield on a regular basis. So I would forget about that. However. Arteta called it a trophy. I think it's an environment. You're playing in a large stadium. It's a showpiece event. It's on TV on on the main channels. And I think the players they want to win it. They want to make a statement early. And look, also last season we didn't beat City. Got beaten, humiliated to a certain point at Wembley. We drew at home and lost away. So I think I think it's important to win. If you lose, it doesn't matter. But if you win, it's a fun day out. You lift the trophy in front of your fans. You get that winning sensation. You build that winning mentality, and it adds to our ever-building aura. And I think our players want to experience that. Yes, you have to put it into context. Even the celebrations were, I stayed for a while watching the celebrations. It wasn't serious celebrations. Like, oh my God, we won. Oh my God, something. But they're just having a laugh. They're having a bit of fun. You see them putting the tin foil into Havertz's hair and all the rest of it, and they're just, not taking it too seriously, but enjoying it. And what's not to love about that? And you are lifting something in front of a crowd, in front of all the streamers. So yeah, it's a trophy, and it, as you said, I think it builds that confidence, builds that aura, and I think it's important for the players, and especially the new ones like Tzolis, like Bruno. Yeah, it just builds that team spirit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's important, as you said, to start the season on a positive note, and this is especially after we actually won the English Championship. We finished first in the Premier League. It's a nice way to be like, okay, this is not just a Community Shield after a bad season or after an FA Cup, which is a major trophy. This is a Community Shield after us winning a title, and that's massive, I feel. I think context is everything, but it's always good to go into the season with a bit of positivity.
Yeah, no, indeed. So, look, so let's kick off. Just looking back at it, the lineup. So we had Raya in goal, White, Mosquera, Gabriel Calafiori at the back, Lewis Skelly, Guimaraes, Ødegaard in the middle, and Madueke, Tzolis, and Havertz as the front three. Yeah, what were your thoughts about that lineup? Yeah, how did you feel when you saw that come out? And then also on the subs bench, we had Kepa, Hincapié, Zubimendi, Merino, Rice, Eza, Dauman, Saka, Gyökeres. Yeah, any thoughts on the lineup? Any surprises about who was included, who wasn't included, who started, who didn't?
No surprises from the starting lineup. Maybe one little surprise, thought maybe Dauman would have started ahead of Madueke, but it is still a big game against City in a cup final. But besides that, yeah, there were no surprises there. Obviously, the surprises were off on the bench or not on the bench. Martinelli not making the bench. I don't know if there's an injury or if this is literally Berta tactics to get him out. Yeah, I mean, it's insane how stacked our squad is, because we had a bench of really talented players and we still didn't have Saliba, Timber, Jesus, who played a few games last season, of course, Martinelli, it's and Ethan, right? So yeah, I love the setup of our squad. Obviously, the worry is that we had one defender on the bench, but knowing our super player in Merino, worst comes to worst, you could probably slot him as a defender. The one surprise,
I know one thing for sure. He's ahead of Kepa in goalkeeping position.
Oh yeah. The one surprise, and maybe we'll chat about it a bit later, is obviously Rice playing from the second half, from the beginning of the second half. That was a bit of a surprise, because we all know the stories. We've all seen the images of him holding his hamstring. Not the stories. We saw him. He was a horse last season. So a bit surprising there, but like in terms of starting lineup, no big surprises. No.
I thought the one was, I said, Dauman's been playing a lot of pre-season. I think Madueke said they had half a game. Look, Madueke, yeah, he was at the World Cup, but I don't think he was like, really. And even throughout last season, it wasn't like he was on his last legs and injured and stuff. So, but maybe, yeah, this is it. It's the big boys game, and maybe, yeah, Madueke is the one, and maybe this is either a nod to what we're setting up for Coventry, or actually resting down for Coventry. It's who knows. But I think the biggest story was both Nelly and Nwaneri not even being in the matchday squad. There was all the stuff about Martinelli and Galatasaray last week, and now apparently there's rumours about Napoli now. Nwaneri, again, I think, yeah, there was noise that, we will definitely sell him or move him on or loan him before the end of the window. I think Aston Villa now being talked of. So, but also, there's only so many players you can have in the squad, in the matchday squad, and he has to put Rice and Saka in there because they need minutes to be ready for Coventry, even if they're only coming at half time. The same for Zubimendi, and then Eza's had a bit of pre-season, Dauman's had a bit of season, Hincapié we need, Merino as well. So yeah, you needs must, and look, he even mentioned it himself. He said, look, he said they're not related to the transfers. They're just technical decisions, he said. I've been trying to persuade the Premier League and the other clubs to be able to extend the number of players that we can have, especially the outfield players in the squad, because we play more and more games and the load is unreal. To not give the chance to those players to be here to participate because maybe the game demands the qualities of one of those players, and not to have them available is just a shame. It's the most difficult part of the job. But there's nothing to do with transfers. It's just a fact that we can bring 18 outfield players, and we believe that for today's game, these were the options that we needed, especially with the physical condition of certain players, as we alluded to. So look, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know. Yeah, we know we're trying to do something in terms of selling, and that's something we need to do. And I find it hard that Arteta will make decisions based on selling someone unless literally they're on the verge of a move. So then no one wants to jeopardise that. But yeah, I mean, what else can he do? What's the solution other than having, like the World Cup? And I can't understand why they don't have it. Why can't you have just a whole squad on the bench?
Yeah, no, look, it makes complete sense. And I think all of us thought about this when we first saw the starting lineup. We were like, we have too many players. The rules need to change. But also, Arteta's not wrong. These players are playing way more games. They're playing way more minutes. Some of the players have had 4 weeks, 3 weeks break after the World Cup, after the season. And if FIFA and UEFA wants to play more games, then okay, cool. Give the teams an opportunity to have more players in their squad. Like right now, you're looking at PSG signing quite literally a second team, right? Because as much as they don't play a lot of minutes, like they know that you need 2 squads in this season, these in football nowadays. So yeah, it's I'm hoping that the rules change simply because these players they're playing too much. The game is a lot more intense, and yeah, going to a season with only the amount of subs that are allowed now, we'll see more injuries. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Champions League you can have 23 players, but I think this is more of a Premier League issue. Maybe they're trying to protect the in inverted smaller clubs, but everyone's playing more games to a certain extent. So maybe it's the smaller clubs that are against it because they'll feel they'll be hindered. I think they were against the 5 subs, but I think it works both ways because also they can bring on fresher players and they can manage their squads better because even if you're not playing in Europe, you're still playing a lot of games. The intensity of the games are harder and so on like that. So, yeah, and I think also for squad harmony, everyone's including their squads. And if you can't have the likes of Nwaneri and Nelly involved in the warm-up, in the dressing room, on the bench, okay, at least that's something. Even okay, maybe you don't come on, but you still feel part of it. Part of that match day team. If you're not even, I don't think they even travel. I think you bring one spare. They don't even travel, so they're sort of at home watching it on TV. So it's a toughie. We'll see. Yeah, maybe they are on their way out. Maybe they're not. But I don't think the decision is based on that. And I think not only you said we only had one defender, so that's something we really need to sort out in the transfer window. The other thing was. There was no left-hand side of attack option. So maybe that was a bit odd why, Dauman was included because we had Saka, but Nelly wasn't. So maybe Nelly could have been in there for Dauman because we only had Tzolis. Okay, Eze could play left-hand side, but he's not really played there. So another deficiency was potentially our left-hand side of the attack. City themselves, they looked actually quite strong. I was surprised because I looked at their pre-season and who played, and that's actually on paper, they were good on paper, shit on grass yesterday, but on paper they looked quite strong. So were you sort of fearful of a harder matchup, given Haaland? I think that was his first pre-season game. I think maybe for Anderson. Maybe his first preseason game, O'Reilly his first preseason game. Were you a bit surprised how strong they came into the game?
I wasn't surprised by their strength. I think Maresca wanted to make a statement yesterday. It's a glorified friendly, but you're a new manager after a dynasty generational talent manager. You want to show up, right? So I wasn't surprised by how they came into the game. And I wasn't worried either. I wasn't worried about the squad. We are a better squad, like hands down. and we are all the team are winners, they're champions, they've tasted blood. So I think the fans, we've also tasted blood, and we're probably walking with the same swagger that these guys might have. But yeah, I wasn't worried. I wasn't surprised by his approach, because he wants to make a statement, and shit, we made the statement for him yesterday.
Yeah, and look, they even had the likes of Marmoush. I think he's on his way out. And stuff like that, and on the bench. And Grealish, it was like nuts. He actually came on as well. It's like, what, he's still at City? The fact you just completely forget that he's still a member of their squad. And I thought, if I thought hard enough about it, I know Everton didn't buy him, but the fact that he was actually on the bench for them was like made very, very funny, and his performance showed that that's where he's staying. So,
One thing,
yeah,
I don't know the sorry for interrupting. One thing you didn't experience when you were in the stadium was how the commentators were just speaking about Grealish the entire. I think there's no player who got more airtime than Grealish from the beginning of the game, before the game started, until they touched on him a few times in the first half. He wasn't even on, and then when he was coming on, they just continued speaking about him, and I'm just like, did this guy score a World Cup winning goal? Like, why are you on his ass like this? It was so odd. And as you said, you did nothing. You did absolutely nothing. So it's very odd.
Yeah, I did hear something about that. They were here, waxing lyrical about God knows what. So still living off. I don't know, because even though he's won a couple of, he did win some trophies, but was he £100 million success for them? I very much doubt it. But then again, people could say the same about some of our players who are now champions. So fair play to him. But he's a waning star, and let him stay that way. He's going the way of Phillips. So look, as far as the game's concerned, any highlights, lowlights you would like to share?
Highlights. It's very hard to find a low light from a game like that. Highlights was definitely two things. Ødegaard's performance in general. I'm a massive Ødegaard advocate, disciple. Crazy how we're not going to go into that rabbit hole, but I'm a massive Ødegaard disciple. For context, I used to play Football Manager, and I was one of the players, Football Manager players who tried to sign him before he went to Madrid when he was like 15. Been a fan literally for the last decade plus. So seeing him just play really well, and then also his the third goal, his goal was just phenomenal. Great pass from Tzolis, and then of course the control, the composure. Just it's a dream seeing a player like him really come out and do what he did. So that was the highlight. Low lights. Fuck it. I should have gone to Cardiff, man. That's actually that's the low lights.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But as we were talking beforehand, it was a bit tricky with the transport to get there if you had left it late to get your ticket, and that's where it is. But no, look, let's talk about Ødegaard. And look, I've got a few highlights that I'll get to, but look, my number one highlight was that goal. And it was I put in the socials, it was an ode to Kanu, because it was so reminiscent of the goal Kanu scored against Deportivo La Coruña in the Champions League, and it was just so funny the way he just sat Donnarumma down, just so brilliant, so funny, and I don't think there's anyone that didn't just laugh at that goal. Even Ødegaard was running away laughing. It was just superb. But and I think it's a well deserved, and it topped off a really, really good performance. I mean, he was man of the match. I mean, he sort of ran the show for Arsenal. It was he was sharp, he was nippy, he was creative, he was aggressive in the final third. He was back to his best, maybe playing with maybe a chip on his shoulder, maybe something to prove, because last season yes, he was the captain of the championship winning team, but how much did he contribute to it? And not because he wasn't there, just because of injury, and he wants to contribute more. So maybe he's saying, right, I want to prove something, and this is my team. I'm not finished. I'm not done. And it shows when a fit and firing Ødegaard, how important he is to who we are and how we play, and also he was. He was also breaking the line. I think you saw it against Como. His goal, he's breaking to the box. He had a chance at the end of the first half where he's, on the edge of the 6-yard box, trying to put in a rebound or a cross, and yeah, he's he's tackling. He was like he's tackling. He's getting involved and stuff like that. So I think. Yeah, just an all-round superb performance. And even then, if their highlight wasn't his goal, then there was that shimmy he did halfway through the second half where he sent two City players packing, which set up an attack, and eventually Saka took a shot. And that was just a little faint drop of the shoulder. We all love a drop of the shoulder. And, he goes one way, two players of they're twisting their necks and ankles going the other way. And it's just... Look, the only one fault was that I think in the first half there was a chance where he ran to the edge of the box and just shoot. So I think he still needs to maybe take that shot. But yeah, it bodes well for the season if we have a fit and firing Ødegaard.
Yeah, absolutely. On that shimmy that you're talking about, so most of the game was very calm. I expected us to win, even when he scored in the first 20 odd seconds. I was just like, this is my team. No weird theatrics. That shimmy made me it made me shout out loud. It made me scream and I was like, Jesus Christ. Seeing someone who, you could be right. Maybe has a chip on his shoulder because he wants to contribute again a bit more this season, more than just the captain and the leader that he is in the dressing room and on the pitch. But yeah, it's so good seeing a player like him, just stepping up and doing what we expect him to do. And I guess the thing is, I hope he stays fit, right? Because he had chances last season and then he would fall, hurt his shoulder, and he's gone for a couple of weeks. So we know what he can do, but yeah, stay fit, buddy. That's what we want.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday he had 55 out of 58 passes completed, 95%. Completed 3 dribbles. He won possession 9 times. So again, he was intercepting, he was winning possession, he was picking up loose balls. And the other thing maybe you didn't pick up on TV, we know he does lead the press. And one thing, it was deliberate. He was telling Bruno all the time, right, press now, go now. Which unfortunately meant that Bruno was always a little bit behind, and so maybe was a bit easy to bypass, or Bruno was doing, rapid sprints trying to get to the press, or knackering himself out. And look, once he gets to know where he's meant to be, then he's going to be a lot harder to beat. But again, he was doing all his duties yesterday, so it was sort of the very complete all-round performance. And he laid on the cross for the Tzolis header for the second goal. Yeah, he was involved in everything that was very good about Arsenal, and I think if he keeps doing that, he's going to be a hard person to shift. For me, in terms of highlights, I mean the whole day was a highlight. I was lucky enough to go. It's an excellent stadium for watching football. The sun was out. You had a good seat. The Arsenal fans were in form, getting sacked in the morning came out, which was excellent. Chanting second again, ole ole to City. Fans outside the stadium was great. And we had 3/4 of the stadium, so it felt like a home game. And when they were singing when they had Blue Moon going over the tannoy, we drowned the hell out of that out. And yeah, the whole day was a highlight. But if we're talking about Ødegaard, then the other performance I want to call out is Tzolis. He's rapidly becoming. I know. Yeah. I said let's not over-index this game. In the last pod, I'm going to over-index this game fully. I think he's going to be better than Trossard. He's going to be an upgrade on Trossard. He's not a Trossard regen or a Trossard replacement. He's going to be an upgrade on him. One, his size and stature. So that header he gets to get across to Havertz for the second goal. and I think he's going to have more end products and going to offer us a lot more. I mean, he's just quality, reliable, the 2-footed. He's hard-working. The amount of times I've seen him pre-season, and yesterday he's up and down, up and down. He's picking up loose balls in here. He's defending. He's doubling up with Calafiori, and maybe instead of Calafiori, because who knows where Calafiori is after time. But he just does. Also, he does. This is what I love. He does simple things, but he does them really well. And yeah, he's clever touches, sharp runs. Yeah, I mean, I think we've unearthed. I mean, the fact that no one was with him. So, I think kudos to the scouting team, kudos to Berta to getting him for 40 million. I mean, this guy is going to be a superstar. And Ian posted a stat out. He said, like, if you include preseason and yesterday, he's won us a penalty. He's got 5 assists and 1 goal already. Okay, it's only preseason, it's blah blah blah, but you can't not be excited about this talent.
No, absolutely. Like I said this in one of my other chats, and I think I might have said this in our group chats, the Grove, shout out to the Grove. I think this could honestly be a Mane type signing when Mane moved from Southampton to Liverpool. He was really, really good at Southampton, but he became like a top 5 player in the world when he moved to Liverpool after like 2 seasons. And it sounds like a crazy statement, but like he is that good. Like this player is that good. He's at a really good age. He's in a team with champions. So he's probably like his confidence has gone up, right? And I shout out to our scouts, but Tabs, I truly believe that a lot of teams are looking at him, but he saw Arsenal as the option, and he said, I want to pick Arsenal. I haven't read that, but there's no ways a player who had the most assists in 10 of the top leagues in Europe, there's no way that it was just us who were in for him, right? I think a lot of teams were in for him. So I'm really excited about him. And yeah, like it's just preseason, but that usually carries through. The games themselves are for fitness, but like that type of form does usually carry through into the season. So yeah, absolutely good shout for another like big player yesterday.
Yeah, indeed. And so, look, I was struggling with lowlights as well. I couldn't really think of anything significant, shall we say. So I one of the ones is, and look, it's referencing to Tzolis, is that we're still very right-hand side dominant. Everyone looks to the right. yeah, and maybe it's because they're left-footed players or whatever like that. But in terms of our attacking zones, it was 42% down the right and only 30% down the left. And look, if you've got Saka there, then that's understandable. And this is not to knock Madueke. I think Madueke had a good enough game. It was a very Madueke game, but he was a threat and he balanced out what Havertz does and what Tzolis did in terms of he was just a runner, he's an attacker. He gave them something to think about, and there wasn't in product in terms of results of goals or assists, but he was still dangerous. He still offered options. He was still a threat. So,
but fair. His little nodded header to Ben White before Ben White passed to Lennis. It was, I guess, a Madueke game. Yeah, he does bounce. But anyways, continue.
But no, yeah, okay. So it's probably, but what I mean, I think he had a good game. I think there was no issues with him. So that my thing isn't like about the right hand side and dominance against him. It's more, well, we've just talked about how good Tzolis is.
Yeah.
And his movement and his space. So yes, use him more. 42-30. Let's balance that out. Make it, 36-36. Or even a bit more. If Saka's not there, then let's have Tzolis get the ball a bit more. So that's it. So a tiny low light. The other one is one thing that we do lack in midfield. We've got the creativity. We've got the brains. We've got the brawn. We just don't have the pace. There was one moment when, and maybe this is a fitness thing, but it looked like Bruno was running through treacle, trying to chase back through the middle. And this was in the first half. But Ødegaard's not fast. MLS is not fast. Bruno's not known for his pace. Zubimendi isn't. Rice just about. Maybe is the one that has the pace, but we can't. So that's maybe a slight concern, especially if Saliba's not there, because if our midfielders aren't there, then that's it. Mosquera can be fast, but Gabriel isn't the fastest. Ben White isn't the fastest. So we're just lacking that bit of pace in midfield, and with our high press and maybe potential for high turnovers because we're going to be trying things, all the rest of it. That's maybe, I wouldn't be surprised if we got, and if Saliba's not around, we might get caught out a couple of times in the turnover in that pace running towards our goal.
Yeah, we see that, we know that it's a potential weakness, but then I have a feeling that the coaches, the manager, they know this, and maybe the work that they're doing is around positioning. When we brought in Bruno's an incredibly talented player, but like he's not a fast player. Like he isn't. We've never thought of Ødegaard as being a quick player. So you'd hope that part of the work that they're trying to focus on this preseason is how do we position ourselves better so that when there is a turnover, we aren't caught on the back foot, or maybe slightly tweak the tactics because Saliba's not there, right? That said, though, Mosquera is quick. He is a quick player, but he's the only one who's quick when you're looking at everyone else at the back. Rice is quick because he's 6'2" and he's got long legs, so he just looks like he's galloping. But Ben White is not quick. Calafori is playing at right wing sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah. The hope is that they know this and they're trying to figure out how can we manage this and mitigate this going into the new season, because other teams will definitely see this.
Yeah, no, indeed. So, but anyway, wasn't an issue for yesterday, so that's fine. And look, maybe if we're winning 3-0 at 60 minutes every week, it doesn't matter. So let's have that be the tactic. And that was such a nice feeling for once to not be on edge. You know, to be 3-0 up, cruising, the better team. Yeah, that was great. That was it. So in terms of match stats, I didn't really notice this, and maybe it was a fact of the second half, but 41% possession to Arsenal, 59 to City. We had 2.1 xG to their 1.12. We had 9 shots to their 12. We both had 5 on target. We had 27 touches in the opposition box. They had 34, but we had 4 big chances to their 1, and we both missed a big chance. Their main threat came down their right-hand side, which would have been, I think, Semenyo. And yeah, but again, it's not even in terms of their possession. Maybe it was around the back. Maybe I've got the momentum chart here. They had a lot of possession in the second half. By that time, though, we were 3-0 up, and come 60 minutes, everyone's starting to get a bit tired. We're not going to overextend ourselves. Lots of subs are happening, so that just changes the game. So not going to read anything too much into that, because actually, if you just watch the game, we just dominated it in every area that we needed to dominate. So, so in terms of the game itself and all the rest of it, how did you enjoy the performance? What did you think of the performance as a whole? How we approached it, and how we went about our business?
So it was a fun game to watch. I didn't expect 3-0, but when he scored 2 goals, I was hoping for 4. We obviously, I think a few people said we played without the handbrake on, and it's been a criticism of Arteta in some of these big games. But I'm not mad at it, because when we came against big teams before last season, would win. We were better, but we didn't win the league. So I think now that they've won the league, there's definitely an aura of weak confidence and maybe arrogance that these players have, that they can actually just do what they want to the biggest teams in the land. But all around, just really exciting game. Like seeing our players mix and match the way they did. Seeing Bruno as he had his slow moments, but you could see that he's why we bought him. He's a little deep lying playmaker that is definitely good at what he does. Everyone was just up for it. The entire team, like from the beginning to the end. Even Ben White, seeing him, it seems like he's getting back to his best. Honestly, I was very happy with that match. And I guess the only time I screamed was when we saw the Ødegaard shimmy. But yeah, I should have been like screaming and screeching the whole game, because it was a really well set out game. Our shape was it was similar to what we used to, but also a bit more relaxed and more confident. But yeah, odd. Like it's really exciting seeing the team that we saw yesterday because, and I said this before the Champions League final, the team that we're going to see in the next few weeks, in the next year, in the next few years, actually is going to be a very different team to a team that we've known the last 3 years, but it's a team that's won the Premier League, that's done the big one, right? Even Pep spoke about how the Champions League is really cool, but like it's a knockout. Where you really want to judge a team is a team that like goes through an entire season and wins it. So yeah, similar shape, similar tactics, but also feels like there was just a bit more arrogance and confidence in how we approached the game. And just like people doing the basics correctly. Like, as I said, the Madueke header, that was a perfect little cushioned header, but we missed because we're so used to, like, we expect that, right? Then White gets the ball, he passes it. We don't speak enough about MLS's drop of the shoulder to totally like dismiss Foden. And then our left wing sometimes plays right wing, makes us run in. And like, it's just small things, basic things working really well. That's what you expect from a team like Arsenal, and we got it yesterday. Well,
I mean, people often forget with all the transfer talk, and we can always improve, we can always upgrade, we can always get better. And look, we desperately need to get defensive cover in. I don't think we can just survive off Mosquera and Ben White, no matter how good they are, playing week in, week out. We know defensive frailties. Okay, fair enough, Nkapie could play there, but we need to do something there. But from an attacking perspective, people often forget that with the team that we have and with the squad, we are a really, really good team. Yeah. If you have a fit Ødegaard, Havertz, Saka, Calafiori for the majority of the season, we will score goals, lots of them. We will win matches easy, and we will be able to rest players. We'll all be a little bit stressed, and it will perpetuate a better team, a better, more rested team, and so on and so on and so on. And people, so, and this time of year, it was, we didn't get Vinny Jr. Why haven't we replaced Martinelli? Why haven't we got this? And why have we got that? But if you ask me, if you were to take being fit for the rest of the season, sod transfers, we're winning the lot easy again with the team that we have, with the squad that we have, and yeah, it's that thing though. Let's hope that these guys can stay fit. I think one of the things that happened last year, that as soon as Calafiori got injured, like late autumn, early winter, our attacking prowess, dropped off. You saw what he does yesterday within 24 seconds. As you said, a nice little move, and that is so the first goal, 24. That it was actually it wasn't actually the best pass by White, but it forced MLS to do that maneuver to lose him, and then play that lovely pass in. And who's the person running in? It's our left back, our nominal left back. And then he sits Donnarumma down, or Donnarumma goes, oh shit, and it was such a composed finish, nicely into it, and yeah, that's it. So again, Calafiori, now look, Andy from the Grove, he doesn't like the fact that one of our attacking, or a lot of our attacking threat or creativity comes from our left back. He thinks it should be further up the field, but if you've got him firing, and he goes under the radar as how actually good he is, can play left centre back, plays left back. He can play anywhere in the forward line in midfield, I reckon, because even though he's not selected in that position, he will find him there. And look, 24 seconds that's our left back in that position, and he's exactly. It's funny about people. I say if he can stay fit, robust, he offers us something different. And when we need Nkapie, we got Nkapie, and it's amazing we can have this squad. So that will make such a difference this season.
Maybe our biggest signing this season will be the new big physio we got from Aston Villa. Maybe that's because you are right. This squad right now, as it is, if they stay fit, you can't stop it. Literally, we made these guys look like clowns without like 4 key players on the pitch. It's
Saka. We didn't start with Saka, no Rice, Saliba, Timber. And we did it easy without those players, and that was one of the things, that the substitutions that we made, to a certain extent, you could say in certain parts improved us. And so that's what we got. So we just got to try and keep this squad fit, and it's about that management. And look, and one other thing that was pleasing yesterday, we came flying out of the box, and it set the tone. We were brave, we were vertical, confident, we're quick of restarts, and you could say it was like the complete performance. We had the intensity, we had the quality, the control, the depth, and there was also the defensive excellence, which we will get to. And I think City looked a bit stunned, and they never recovered, and they never settled, and they had no answers. And one thing I think for sure is that I think a lot of fans and pundits want us to fail.
Absolutely.
Yeah, us winning the Premier League last season wasn't popular, and the celebrations, and it shone a huge light on the inadequacies and deficiencies of other teams, and who aspire to be in our position. And so I doubt it's a motivation for the team, maybe a little bit, but I think it's great that we won, and the way we won, even with all the caveats. I think it sort of sets a benchmark. It's sort of like, oh shit, yeah, they're more than just corners. Yeah, we didn't score a set piece. There you go.
Man, you know what? I was saying this to some other friends. I love that people just call us a corner team. I love that they say that Arsenal is this team that defends. It's a very baseless, lazy narrative that people love to throw around because they hate tribalism, whatever it is. And I love it because last season, statistically, was the toughest season of the last 20 seasons. Literally, I think the team that came 18th in the last, I think you might have said this in one of the pods actually, and I'll just repeat it to everyone. The team that came 18th in the last 19, 20 seasons, they would have survived, right? Then we have our friends was it Brentford or other people who love Brentford, we know them, who had a 15-game unbeaten record. It's literally the best in Europe. Sunderland, who got promoted, finished in a European position. The points between 6th and I think 13th were, 6th and 16th were 13 points. So very difficult season. We managed to grind through with our injuries. And this is what happens when our team is fit, right? We can do what we did. And I think we spoke about this in one of the pods of a few months ago, where you said when you have the players, you're allowed to do some of the things that the fans want, which is attacking football. But when the players are limited because of injuries, you're kind of forced to adapt to that, right? This is Arsenal when we are good, when we are fully fit, and people should continue crying penalties or corners, whatever. Underestimate us. You'll see us win again.
Yeah. Look, I mean, as I said, we shouldn't over-index this result, but the sun was out. We had a lot of fun. We won it. We lifted a trophy, so it's hard not to. And let's enjoy it. Why not enjoy it? There's too much shit going in the world. You got to enjoy it. You got to milk the moment when you can. The result was great. The scoreline was what we deserved. It was very comfortable. But for me, it was the collective performance that really stood out, supplanted by individual performances. On the flip side, though, what did you make of City? Because I think for them, this was more important for them. As you said, they're coming in off 2 seasons now where they come second and third. They've got a new manager. No Rodri, no Silva, no Stones. Ake's gone. Akanji's gone. Baby Reindeer has gone to Saudi. Pep's gone. New manager. They're looking to offload more players. What did you make of them? Do you think they're going to be, the force that they have been, or maybe we don't need the 115 charges and they're going to relegate themselves anyway?
Yeah, I think Enzo he needs time, not to overindex.
Getting sacked in the morning.
City have lost their aura. I feel, things have changed. Look, these guys have won leagues, right? They've done, a lot of these players have done the biggest things. But this football it goes in cycles, and they are going through their cycle of not winning right now. And I feel like it might last a little bit longer than they want, simply because losing someone like Pep is, I would say, is equivalent to losing a Sir Alex Ferguson. So I City fans, I'm sure, are very worried. And like Rodri's a big loss. Like I understand he's 30, blah, blah, blah. And I know last season I kept on speaking about how a lot of the games that he started, they lost. There was a higher percentage of winning when he didn't start post his ACL injury. But he is still a very talented player. Ballon d'Or winner, World Cup winner, Euro champ. Um, and he was coming back to his own, at the end of short end of last season. So losing Bernardo Silva, who absolutely bossed us. I hate that player. Bossed us when he played against them, fucking running.
We always hate the good players, don't we?
Yeah.
He shows a mark. It's a mark of what's the word? But just begrudging respect. Yeah.
But yeah, they've lost a lot of really key players. And Elliot Anderson, I remember asking friends, why is this guy, because I never watched Forest at all. I was like, why is this guy worth 116? Like, this is crazy. So in the World Cup, I was like, oh, I see. But like, he's not a Rodri. He's not a Silva. And Enzo Maresca is not a Pep who's going to be like, hey, you're good enough. It's a different world. It's a completely different world for them. And I wish them all the worst. I really do.
I mean, MLS bossed Anderson yesterday, but there we go. But look, okay, we know this isn't the City of old. However, they still have Haaland, okay? And when you've got someone like Haaland in your team, you're going to get goals. You're going to do all right to a certain extent. And there's still a couple of weeks in the window. And even though they've spent, I don't know, 800 million in the last 2 years, they can drop another 220 on Enzo from Fernandes from Chelsea, on the Moroccan kid, the 19-year-old, and all of a sudden, bang, that's like 1 billion in whatever years, and they can dispose of like the other players. So it can change very, very quickly. They can get a bit of a midfield. I think they'll still be struggling defensively. I think Donnarumma is now, not just yesterday. I just think he's a good shot stopper, but is he going to take you to the promised land, anymore? And I don't think they have that aura anymore. And we can rid ourselves of that inferiority complex. I think we have, and it's no more master and apprentice narrative. And we can step in and be that dominant force. We can be that team with the aura. We can be that team that Unai Emery comes to the Emirates and goes, I think I'm going to play the kids at this game because I've got a more important game next week, because there's no chance I'm going to beat Arteta and his boys. Yeah. So maybe we're stepping into those city shoes, just not being a bunch of cheats in the process. So
hey man,
I think this is the opportunity.
I said we walk into a dynasty, guys. I've said this. You will see us end of the season. I'll be like, oh look, treble or quintuple. Did I not say dynasty? So, I look on the points of they can sign players. They'll always be able to sign players. But we've seen teams who sign players. Chelsea. It doesn't mean you're going to win anything. Chelsea's okay. They got Xabi Alonso. We won't speak about Chelsea today, but I don't think these guys just signing players will be what will get them out of this situation. I think, they're going to a very challenging transition period. And I could be wrong, but let's see what happens.
So as for the game itself, so we said, look, we're out of the blocks quick, scored in 24 seconds. Our roaming left back, with a superb finish after a wonderful pass by Skelly, and it feels like we were pretty much the dominant team. But then there were a couple of moments, and let's get on to our defense and first and second half. That again. A very Arsenal story, but we've got a goalkeeper because the job is to make saves. Someone better tell Kepa that, but I think the likes of Kepa, Gabriel, Ben White, and even supporting by Mosquera, I think defensively we looked really good. I mean, Raya made a couple of very good saves. Then there was the Gabriel block. Then there was the one off the hip from Ben White, which was going to be a certain goal. So how did you enjoy, defensively? Like we, even without Saliba, without Timber, we still pretty much, we shut out City and we shut out Haaland and Semenyo and Doku.
Yeah, it shows you how important the system is, because when you have a good system, individual players they're important, but it's easier to mitigate when they leave, right? So yeah, it's the Arsenal of old. We've now just added like the attacking prowess to this really formidable defense. And I was in another chat where rival fans are saying, "Fuck, I wish our defense was as good as Arsenal," because that's just that's how they are, and I think it's literally been ingrained in their minds to just we have to like defend like our lives depend on it. So it's just it's what we know, but the really nice part is that we have the other side to complement it too. You know.
Yeah. No, indeed, and look, we took a 2-goal lead in about the 30th minute, 28th minute. Havertz header, and again another goal, another involvement from Ødegaard and Tzolis. So Ødegaard crosses over to Tzolis, does great to get his head on it across. It wasn't the best of headers. I would like to have seen him thump it home. But you know, a goal's a goal. He goes in, embarrasses Donnarumma, 2-0, and there wasn't any coming back from there. And again, look, if Havertz can be our 20-goal a season, supported by Tzolis, by Saka, by Gyökeres, then again, another massive, we're going to have so many like new signings next season. It's going to be like a brand new team. And look, that first half could not have got much better. We could have even gone 3-0 up with the Ødegaard chance towards the end. But not complaining. 2-0 when we're clinical, we're intense, and defensively superb. And then we go 3-0 up early in the second half with sitting down Donnarumma, and I think after that it was just cruise control. I think it was subs coming on. The people are getting tired from about 65 minutes, and the game sort of just has a sort of a bit of a nothing pattern to it. City had a lot of possession, created a couple of chances, but nothing, and then it was just all about minutes and getting out that game injury free. So yeah, well deserved, and a lot of fun. And Arteta said on the performance, I'm obviously extremely happy with the performance, with the results, and winning the first trophy. There's that word again. We talked about the desire that we have to start the season well and to show ourselves how much we want it, and I certainly saw a lot of positive things there against our top opponent. I think the performance is down to the preparation that we've done in pre-season, to the decisions that the boys have taken after the World Cup, to continue to get prepared, to come back early because they want to be part of this. They really wanted to win the competition because it's something that we earned last year, the chance to play against City here, and I'm very impressed in the manner that we played, especially in the manner that we competed. So that's the standard for us, and if we drive the standard at this level, I'm sure we're going to be really, really competitive. So yeah. So do you think we're ready for Coventry?
I hope so, man. That was just a friendly yesterday, so you actually don't know what's going to happen when the season starts. I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're fine.
Yeah, I think we might not be 100%. I still think Saka and Rice are still coming. Even Guimaraes looks still a bit leggy, and he had an ice pack on. I think it's just usual precautionary, like just a bit stiffness after more intensity. I think we're ready enough. I don't think anyone's going to be fully 100% ready, but I think we're ready enough for Coventry, and we'll touch on the Coventry game in the preview pod. But anything else from yesterday's game you wanted to touch on? Anything else that we haven't covered already?
Yeah, I think the one thing for me is not our headache; it's Arteta's headache. How good MLS has been. He's shown that he can start, and it's a crazy thing to say when you have a 19-year-old versus, Bruno versus Marino versus Zubamendi, arguably versus Rice because he's playing the number 6 role, right? So what's good is that Rice can rest. I think that gives me peace, and I'm sure it gives a lot of also fans peace. But MLS, he's doing extremely well. I mean, he got a shout in the Champions League final, and then he's played all of these preseason games. What do you think about that headache, which is not our headache, it's Arteta's headache? But what do you think about that?
No, these are great problems to have, as they say, and I think we need to lock MLS in the Emirates and make sure he never leaves, because yeah, he is a special talent, skill. But I think what stands out for someone so young, he's got the talent at his feet. He can obviously improve. He's young, he can develop, but mentally, just something about him mentally at that age, to be able to cope with the noise, distraction potentially that happened last week, to then go into this. Okay, it's not the biggest game in the world, but still to go in there and his important part in the midfield. The fact that he came in towards the end of last season after having had hardly any minutes, ends up being a star for the last 5 games of the season, or however many it was, and plays the Champions League final, Champions League semi-final. The season before, he's playing in the Bernabeu, not even batting an eyelid, in a position he's not familiar with. So there is something not only technically brilliant about him that we know he can improve, but just his mentality, just his demeanor. He takes everything in his stride, we should be protecting this guy with kid gloves. We should be keeping him there. I mean, we discussed it on the pod with Jamie last time. I'm very much more about the club, and if we have to do business and so on, players come, players go. It hurts, but if we end up winning the treble or whatever, you can easily forget it. But some are maybe potentially harder to take, and it just feels this isn't the one that we should be profiting from. Shall we say?
This is not the one. This is the one where you'll sell him and then you'll do a Manchester United and rebuy the player for 90 million after losing him for free. So let's not do that.
No, indeed. So there we go. So look, really well done. Top performances all round, and then very, very enjoyable day out. So we'll get on to your 3-word reviews, but before then, just a little reminder, because it seems to work, and so I'm asked for a quick favour. And if you enjoy the podcast, please leave a nice little 5-star rating or subscribe to the podcast on our YouTube channel, on the Apple, on Spotify at The Grove AFC. It really, we notice it, and it does help with the listener numbers and the subscribers and the algorithms and spreading the word and so on. So we do notice, and we really appreciate it. So thank you if you've done it so far. And if you haven't, why not? Press pause, go and do it now, and then come back to the rest. So thank you, and that's that for now. So 3-word reviews. Now, if you're new to the pod, I post out on the socials, just trying to get a feel for how everyone's feeling after each game, win, lose or draw, about the performance, about the result. Just a very sort of pithy, little fun sort of test the water in terms of how everyone's feeling out there, and yeah. So we try and read out. Either read out the best ones, or if I haven't been bothered to weed out the best ones, just read them all out. And they could be of various quality and whatnot. So I'll let you think of one, Kuziva, and I'll ask you at the end. But there we go. So on Blue Sky, we have a Cheech who goes, and there's a lot of love for Ødegaard. So Ødegaard is back. Yes, he is. And Tzolis is all right. Bit of an understatement. Stephen Paul Wren, we were a class above. Mr. C. the Gooner, most enjoyable afternoon. It was, Mr. C. It was. Right. On to threads. Jeff Stonehouse 24. Jeff Stonehouse 4. Sorry. 24 seconds. I heart Disney X. Stay humble, hey? Sam 13 draws. My fucking captain. Indeed, he is. DJ Bucat, no charity shown. Yeah, I think that's been my favourite so far. Also, if you haven't heard these before, I am terrible at reading out people's handles because they're either joined up names, numbers, letters, and I don't know where they stop and start. So, talking of which, Bio Dunai said, we're scintillating, exciting, and commendable. KP Rakash 1994, need only one word, gooned. Yeah, not sure what that means, but there we go. Right, Astrid Felicialim started strong. Yeah, if we could start strong like that every week. By the way, did you think we scored too early?
No.
Did you have any fear?
No, I didn't.
I-
It really set the tone. I feel like it set the tone. I think if it was too early, it would have been like 2 minutes. I think at 24 seconds, that's like a slap in the face too early. I think, so whereas, yeah, I think it was fine. Do you think we scored too early?
No, but I think it was brilliant because they tried to play mind games by turning us around, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, for fuck's sake, yeah, "Ooh, yeah, okay, well, fuck off." Yeah, I think it was just like, all right, what? You know what it was? It was whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what that goal. That's what that goal was. You want to turn us around? Fine, we'll score this end. And it was actually I preferred it because actually Calafiori literally was. I was first row middle tier. It was literally just celebrating right in front of me. I think it was looking at me in the eyes like when he was celebrating.
I think I saw that in the replays.
Yeah.
We love it.
So there we go. So no, I didn't think we scored too early, and it was like, yeah, whatevs. All right. Oh God, Saleh, Houdin, Fazada, Ødegaard, the conductor. Yep. Groovy Cathers 2, Martin's back, baby. Hath 100, strength and depth. Yeah, definitely. Kazkad, the nerd, family always wins. Yeah. Where we got the Johnny Man, captain, my captain. Tuku Patel 65, sit you down. Yeah, sit down, Donnarumma. CK Alvarezos, Ødegaard is back. He certainly is. And another one, Tom Ronner, Donnarumma, sit down. What else we've got? Livingston Troy, let's fucking go. Yeah. Dallas Guna, love forward passes. I think we're going to see a lot more of those, especially with Bruno and Ødegaard in this sort of form. CRM Hobbit, Day One Silver, and On Fire 2810. That's our standard. Certainly is. Right. On X, top performance from Tai Chi, Rob Horton. We are good. Bit of an understatement there, and we're definitely not over-indexing. Peter Smith, so fucking easy it was. And EFB Man, Raya is elite. And yeah, I think he made a big difference yesterday. Right, onto the Grove WhatsApp group. Jamie Payton, piece of piss. Sasha, Ode is back. Alex Monroe, winning it all. Matt Stacey, first of many. Noel Mickaday, we are ready. And I think that's a reference to my question last week, was whether we're going to be ready or not. Well, we certainly looked at yesterday. Tom, MLS is class. Alistair, no Pep, lovely. Yeah, I do agree with that. And I'm so pleased that we won the league last year with Pep in charge, and now we can fuck off and we can dominate. Daljit, quintuple is on. And Normie, dinner plate champions. Now, I don't know the size of your dinner plates, Normie, but that's one hell of a deal. I'd say serving platter champions, Normie, not dinner plate champions. Right, Kuziva, do you have a 3-word review?
Yeah, I got 2. So the first one is the one I didn't send to you yesterday, which is the dynasty has begun. And then the one that I feel like needs to be said is I will over-index.
I know, indeed. My one was, and I was saying this all day yesterday, champions beat cheaters. There we go. Right. Thank you, everyone, for sending those in. Appreciate it. And keep an eye out on the socials, Blue Sky Threads, X, TikTok, for when we do the shout-out post-Coventry. Okay, so that's that for the Charity Shield. And before we sign off, I do have one final thing, and I think you'll have some thoughts on this as well, Kuziva. I have a bit of an Arsenal.com rant. Right, we are a multi-billion-dollar company, and we can't get the simple stuff right. And now I'm talking about just the ability to use the ticket exchange to buy tickets. It's just so cheap and disrespectful of the fans. The people that run the ticketing side of the website have no idea how bad their system is, have no clue how it works. You get blocked as soon as you just log in. You're unable to load the map. The shadow blocking that most people don't even realize is happening to them, meaning they won't ever see a ticket, even though on the face of it, everything looks normal, is incredible. Tickets are being added to baskets, but payment is failing. Tickets have gone into baskets, but they've already been sold, and that's failing. And that's happened to loads of people in the last few days. It's a new problem. I have to have the developer tools from the browser open just to use the ticketing site, just to know what the hell is going on behind the code and why shit doesn't work. And even then, I don't understand what's going on. People are posting workarounds on the socials. You should not have to do that to buy a ticket. You should be able to go to the site, select a ticket. Now, I understand supply and demand, so that's not always easy to find, but you should be able to put the time and effort in, put the grind in. If you get a ticket, you're lucky enough, you should be able to add it to your basket. If your timing's great, pay for the ticket, buy it, simple, that's it. It should not be fucking hard. Now, I get they are trying to stop the bots. Get they're trying to stop the touts and so on, which is great and needs to be done. But in doing so, the ticketing part of the website is becoming so incredibly badly designed. It's so badly supported, so badly developed. It's just full of bugs and is not fit for purpose. And this club, the people responsible do not give a shit. They farm it out to Ticketmaster. They don't. Ticketmaster don't care because they sell out all the tickets. So why does it matter? Why should they bother that hundreds of people are just bummed out on missing on their chance to see Arsenal? People spend hours on the site, spend fortunes getting ticket, and basically they make it as hard as possible for you. And you need a degree in computer science just to be able to get within a sniff of getting one. And now, Kuziva and I both work in technology. If we delivered systems like the ticket exchange, not only would we be embarrassed, we would be so unemployed. It's ridiculous. It's a joke. And year upon year, it gets worse and worse. And it needs to be sorted, but I very much doubt it will. And it's pissing a lot of people off. And it's so unfair. Just sort it out.
Yeah, no, absolutely valid, Tabs. And I think the worst part, and it's a point you made, and it's really frustrating, like just saying this and thinking about it, is the demand is really high. So how much do they really care? And when you're looking and trying to understand UX best practices, like one of the key UX metrics.
By the way, for the uninitiated, user experience.
User experience is task completed. And if we had to track our task completed with how people are struggling with tickets, we would be failing. But because the demand is so high, it's not a priority. So it's really sad. And I think I said this once in the group where I said, I feel like if Arsenal paid more, we'd probably have better engineers and programmers supporting some of these initiatives. But Arsenal pay their players really well, but their staff are notoriously, football staff are not really paid well. They get cool benefits, but they don't get paid well. Tabs and I will probably never work in this space because we'd be like, whoa. I want to go on holiday. Like, I don't want to work all my life. So I think that's part of the reason, maybe. But the big issue is the demand is there, and this is not a priority. And it's really sad. It's really sad.
Yeah, and it's more to do with Ticketmaster. But the thing is, Ticketmaster, I have no issues getting tickets for concerts.
Never.
And actually, my experience on the ticket exchange has helped me get tickets for concerts because you understand the mechanism how it works. But that's because we spend hours on this thing. We read up on it, and we're lucky enough to be part of a group where there's people who are technologists and understand it and understand the code and so on. But we're not. By the way, we're not doing anything illegal or illicit here. Whenever you have a browser, you can develop a code, you can understand the mechanism. So there's nothing wrong. You can look at stuff. There's nothing wrong. So it's not like we're using bots or anything like that. These are just simple tools. So we just happen to be luckily people who design websites, who build code and stuff like that. I said me and you have been involved in delivering systems. Okay, where's the But we're going off on here in terms of how to deliver technology projects here. But there's obviously no testing. The product owners have no idea how their product works. And as I said, I would be embarrassed. I would be out of a job if it was this. But this bad. If I was delivering this level of technology to the general public, it's embarrassing as a joke. But it is there. Yeah. If there's no incentive to improve. And now, by all accounts, I'm not a big user of the app or the website other than using tickets, but apparently even the app has just gone to pieces itself and is so hard to use. The website is just everything. Yeah, and for me, the heart is very disrespectful to fans who spent so much money with this club, spending so much money going to see them, spending so much money watching, buying merchandise, whatever, that you just can't have a functioning website. That the biggest thing here is the lack of respect for us, that they don't care, and it feels such a shame. But we're a $1 billion organization here, multi-billion-dollar organization here. Really, this is not expensive stuff to get right.
No, it's not. And like, you are right. On Ticketmaster, I've never had an issue. I've never had an issue trying to buy a ticket on Ticketmaster. And the problem is that link between Ticketmaster and our team. Our team are failing. And as you said, like, is there testing? There probably isn't any testing. So, yeah, it's a shame. And yeah, these things should be brought up in the relevant meetings that need to be brought up. And you'd hope that
Fans forums.
Yeah, the fans forums, you'd hope that they'll listen. But these are one of the byproducts of success is the demand increases and things like this that would keep your fans loyal during very, very difficult times. You don't have to do them as much because your team is winning and you're excited. So let's do other things. Let's drop another t-shirt, another t-shirt line.
Yeah, another merch drop. Yeah,
Another
yeah.
merch
And
drop.
I said, look, what kicked this off today was like, yeah, I managed to get a ticket for the Coventry game, and it was for my son. It's not for me. I'm lucky enough to have a season ticket, so I tend not to experience these issues. So I was trying to get a ticket for the son. I basketed it, and yeah. But the payment timed out, and that's it. And apparently that's been happening to loads of people. And the thing is, you know, right? I've lost that ticket, and you really tell Arsenal, well, sorry. So and there's no recompense there. It's not like, okay, we'll get you a ticket. It's just like they'll just I've raised the ticket with their support line, you know, but they're just going to shrug their shoulders and just say sorry. But I'm saying, you know, someone today on the socials was saying, oh yeah, I think my son experienced this with some Pokemon website, and what you got to do is go to here and change this setting here and do. No, the answer is you shouldn't have to do any of that shit. You should just basket a ticket, pay for the ticket, go and enjoy the game. And so now someone else is going to benefit from that. Well, good luck to them. But my son, yeah. So now I've got to spend more time trying to get him. Yeah, it's just not right. But there we go. What can you do? What can you do? Anyway, on that note, thanks, Kuziva, for your thoughts tonight. Enjoyed that, and I hope you bask in the glory of being a Community Shield winner on your travels to Portugal this weekend.
Yes,
Thank
of course. It's always nice starting a holiday as Community Shield winners. It's a very normal feeling.
Okay, well, look, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for getting involved. Thanks for your 3-word reviews and etc. And then watch out post Coventry. As I said, follow us on Threads, Blue Sky, X, TikTok, Instagram, on the YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, at The Grove AFC. Leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. The next pod will be Wednesday, Thursday, where we'll do our 26-27 season predictions and preview, and then we'll also be previewing the Coventry game because the league kicks off on Friday night. I hope you find a good spot to watch it. Maybe check out I'm sure there's an Arsenal bar in Lisbon somewhere.
There is. I booked a reservation at a Michelin star restaurant without thinking.
Oh, wow.
4 months ago. Yeah, it's at the same time, so we'll figure it out.
Damn you, Sky.
I might have to
cancel the reservation.
Yeah, I might have to cancel the reservation.
Damn you, Sky. Okay, well, enjoy, and we'll catch you on when you get back. So, as I said, thank you for listening. 1 down, 4 to go. It's going to be easy, right? Sure it will be. All right, until the next time, come on you Gunners.